Welcome to The Queen's Lair, a lifestyle podcast. Get inspired by our latest tips and information about small business, entrepreneurship, natural hair, travel, food, and even relationships. Stay tuned for another great episode. I am your host, Renee Patrice. Welcome back, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning into my podcast once again. It's definitely been a long day. We're back again with another mass shooting in these United States of America. Apparently this time an 18-year-old who drove a few hours to get to a town in Buffalo, a smaller city community within Buffalo, New York. I'm going to read this from online. This is from the Hollywood Reporter. Because apparently he went live. He did a live stream on Twitch. A representative for Twitch told the Hollywood Reporter that the company removed the live stream less than 2 minutes after the shooting began at the Tops Friendly Market. I don't even know what to say about this nonsense, honestly. Anyway, from what is known right now, I believe there have been 13 victims, 10 of which have lost their life. I know I saw something on the news maybe about a half an hour ago saying that one of the victims was released from the hospital just within the last hour. I tell you. So I'm just going to read this from CNN because I actually have some thoughts about that part of just the history of Buffalo in general, especially this particular town, because it's an area that I do know and a little history about it. The article goes on to say the shooter traveled hours from outside this community to perpetrate this crime on the people of Buffalo. A day in which people were enjoying the sunshine, enjoying family, enjoying friends, Buffalo Mayor Byron Brown said at a Saturday evening news conference. People in a supermarket shopping and bullets raining down on them. People's lives being snuffed out in an instant for no reason. The suspect, I'm not going to read his name, an 18-year-old white man, was charged with first-degree murder, Buffalo City Court Chief Judge Craig Hanna told CNN, adding the district's attorney office is planning on indicting the suspect and bringing additional charges. Gendron, I said I wasn't going to say his name, but he pleaded not guilty to the charge. How do you even plead not guilty? Anyway, the suspect first opened fire on the store's parking lot and then moved inside, where he continued shooting before surrendering to police. Buffalo Police Commissioner Joseph Gramaglia said 13 people were shot, with 3 suffering non-life-threatening injuries. Of the 13 victims, 11 were African American and 2 were white. The FBI is investigating the shooting as both a hate crime and a case of racially motivated violent extremism. Here's what we know about the shooting and the investigation. Suspect live streamed the violence. At about 2:30 p.m. Saturday, the suspect drove to the Tops Friendly Market supermarket on Jefferson Avenue, got out of his vehicle, and shot 4 people in the parking lot. 3 of those people died, while another is expected to survive. He was very heavy. I can't even get this all out because I'm just so... It's so angering, really. And draining. He was heavily armed. He had tactical gear. He had tactical helmet. He had a camera and was live streaming what he was doing. The suspect used an assault weapon. Live streaming platform Twitch confirmed on Saturday that the suspect used its platform to stream a live broadcast during the attack. The company said it was devastated to hear about the shooting and added that the user has been indefinitely suspended from our service, and we are taking all appropriate action, including monitoring for any accounts rebroadcasting this content. After shooting 4 people in the parking lot, the suspect went inside to the store and began shooting customers. A security guard in the store, who was a retired Buffalo police officer, shot the suspect. But because the suspect wore heavy armor, the bullets did not have any effect. The suspect shot and killed the security guard and continued working his way through the store. When police arrived, the suspect put his gun to his neck, but later dropped the gun and took off some of his gear. He surrendered and was transported to Buffalo Police Headquarters. Investigators are looking into a manifesto. Investigators were reviewing a purported manifesto Saturday that was posted online in connection with the Buffalo mass shooting probe, 2 federal law enforcement officers told CNN. Erie County Sheriff John C. Garcia said that the shooting was a straight-up racially motivated hate crime for somebody outside of our community. This was pure evil, the sheriff said. The supermarket is located near the areas of Maston Park and Kingsley, which are predominantly black neighborhoods. So I'm not going to read the rest of that, but I just kind of wanted to give the factual rundown. If people are not familiar, and y'all know I'm a New Yorker, but I'm from the New York City area, which is way across the state of New York on the east side. And we all know Buffalo. Well, if you may not know, but if you do, Buffalo is all the way in the west and in the Niagara area. You know, right on the edge of Canada. And yeah, racially motivated. Absolutely. I mean, absolutely. When you are coming all the way hours to wreak this type of havoc on a really tight-knit community, black community, which has quite a rich history. I'm going to read this piece from this online source that talks about kind of the history. Michigan Jefferson Avenue's history, heritage, and family-owned businesses. This is the Visit Buffalo information. The corner of Michigan and Broadway is the heart of Buffalo's African-American history and heritage. Here you'll find the Colored Musicians Club and Museum, the Michigan Street Baptist Church, and the Nash House, 3 institutions that made significant contributions to the life of the community and today form the foundation of Buffalo's efforts to create a heritage tourism district. Plans are in the work to restore a building adjacent to the Baptist Church that will include a visitor center designated and designed to tell the stories of the people who lived, worked, and passed through this historic neighborhood. A few blocks away, you'll find Jefferson Avenue, the commercial heartbeat of Buffalo's Near East Side, and businesses like Zawadi Books, Golden Cup Coffee, and Doris Records. I will tell you this, that part of Buffalo is very similar to what you would say like Greenwood. Just thriving black community and businesses. And there has been a revival of that area to make sure that the history is known, to make sure that, people realize the black history that has come through that particular area. And I know, I believe it was last year, I think it was last summer, 2021, where there was I'm not sure of the coalition that put everything together, but there were murals painted, jazz musicians, some of our black heroes and things like that. There was a mural, several murals painted, and it was part of a program. We've known many cities to do this, to have that, murals and everything. New York has definitely different murals. There are tours for different things. Philly is famously known for their murals on the side of buildings, as well as Washington, D.C., and also in Atlanta. There are mural tours and all that sort of stuff. So it is often a way for black communities to it's a way for black communities to show their history and have it frozen in time on the side of a building. And they're beautiful. They're absolutely beautiful, especially the ones in Philly. The ones in Philly are like so near and dear to me. Like if I'm ever in Philly, I definitely go by several of the murals to see them, because I just love driving by them. I just think they're beautiful. And the ones in DC, you guys know I lived in the DMV for over 15 years, so I definitely know a lot about the murals there. And also now, having lived in the Atlanta area for almost 10 years, the murals are just incredible. The artwork that goes into them, the talent, because it's literally the size of top to bottom of a building. And it's incredible, the artists that come together and create those works of art. So if you're not familiar with Jefferson Street, I am sorry that this is the way you had to learn about it. It's definitely a pillar of black history in New York, in that Niagara area. Because if you guys, look at the map of Buffalo, it literally, you can drive across, and go over to Canada. Niagara area is right there. I already see the narrative swirling of, oh, he's only 18 and his brain development. I don't really care about no brain development. I'm not worried about that. He had enough good sense to come across ours to prey on this specific community. And there are more facts coming out. I am glad that authorities in New York are already calling it a hate crime. Another, I don't know, I think it was the governor, it may have been the governor, has said that, it has already said white supremacists. Amen to you. Just say what it is. None of this backtracking and buck shuffling and all that type of stuff. Just say what it is. Just say what it is. I definitely, my heart goes out to this community. It's known for being just, quiet. But they have a lot of pride. They're, like I said, they're a very tight-knit community. Like every community, they've had their issues, but they have really made a concerted effort over years. I've always heard things about, especially when they had the mural movement last year. I was like, oh wow, I remember that Jefferson area, the Jefferson Avenue area, and it being just very, trying to bring little coffee houses and black owned businesses, and it's just a real cool spot, and to see this happen today is just very sad. And the fact that it's in New York, it's my home state, and anytime stuff like this happens, wherever it happens, it's always very draining to me. But especially when it's happening to my own people in my own community, this did not seem random at all. This seemed like a very targeted situation, targeted hate crime. That makes it even more disturbing, But I'll be watching this case. I know that everybody pretty much will be watching this case. This is pretty much taken up. It's going to completely overshadow the weekend. But it also shines a light on gun control as well. And I know that's the thing that people don't want to talk about. Trust me. Before I lived in the South, I was like, people shouldn't have guns. They shouldn't. I am all for people bearing arms who are responsible, who have been trained, who do not have adverse histories, to be gun owners. I am not against people owning firearms. Do you need to own an assault rifle? No, you don't. I know people are going to have their opinions on that, and I have mine. But there has to be better checks and balances. We can't be signing into law that you can have concealed weapons and all this sort of foolishness like what we're dealing with here in Georgia right now. This is the sort of thing that we're trying to avoid. You cannot account for people's mental health state. People snap every day. But we cannot make it easier for them. We can't aid them in them snapping. People can snap every day, but when they snap and then they also have access to these type of things, this is another thing. If it was not him who attained it, and let's say it was his parents, and he got access to it from his family or whatever, then that's another conversation as well. That goes with being right in line with being a responsible gun owner. If you're a responsible firearm owner, your children, I don't care if your children are 25, they should not have access to this stuff. This is an 18-year-old kid, and I'm saying kid, I mean he is an adult. But I'm saying kid in the grand scheme of life. But he made very adult decisions as an adult, young adult, but still an adult. Now they're going to go in his background, and I'm sure they're going to find red flags. I'm sure they will, because there always is. There's never been any type of shooting or situation like this where they did not go in the person's background, no matter what color they were, and didn't find red flags. We have to be more kind. We have to be more aware. We have to be more, I don't know. And when I say kind, sometimes the words that you say to somebody could set them off. Sometimes the way that you treat people could make them feel away. You don't know who's on the edge. So when I say we talk about being kind, you don't know who's ready to snap. The average everyday Joe Schmo who has been living life perfectly, no priors, no nothing, can snap. Anybody can. Going through losing your job and all these things through the pandemic and COVID and blah, 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 blah. That alone can make you snap. But this is targeted. This is, I'm going to this community to do this damage. It's tiring. It's an assault on the black community, black and brown communities, like no other. It's very rare to see the opposite happen, where you see like all of these, black mass shooters going, I'm going to go head right over to, it's very rare. We just saw the Brooklyn shooter. Stuff like that is so rare. But this particular scenario with the young, angst, white dude keeps on happening all the time. And we're not addressing it. We're not really talking about it. Because Monday, it'll be brand new news, and we ain't even going to pay attention to what's going on with this thing anymore. It's sad, but it's true. When is this going to stop? When are there going to be tighter laws, gun laws? Not taking guns from people. I'm not saying that. But tighter gun laws, so that when people who are not clicking mentally or whatever they got going on, they don't have this type of access to be able to do this type of damage. I don't really have the answers to all of this. Like I said, I sit on different boards and groups, and sometimes that's even tiring as well. A lot of strides have been made, but we have so far to go. I'm tired. I'm not even looking at this news anymore. Probably I'll maybe pick it up tomorrow. Like, share, subscribe. Tag me on social media, especially on Instagram. And I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Bye. Online savings simplified. Don't search for coupon codes ever again. With one click, Honey's smart shopping assistant will automatically apply discounts to your cart in seconds. Save on all your favorite things. Easily pay less for products you're already buying online. It's as easy as 1, 2, 3. Join Honey for free. It takes 2 clicks to add Honey to your Chrome, Safari, Firefox, or Opera browser. Find savings in seconds. While you shop, Honey will find working promo codes across the entire internet, and you save instantly. With one click, Honey will apply the best deals to your cart. It's that easy. So what are you waiting for? Get Honey. Download it today. Visit our link, www.tinyurl.com/ONYXHONEY. That's www.tinyurl.com/Onyx Honey. Start saving right now.